Welcome to episode 1 of Heaven is a State of Mind, a daily devotional. But instead of using the Bible, we're going to use sacred songs and try to make some meaning, or not. Okay. Highwayman, a song by the Highwaymen. The ever classic Willie Nelson, Chris Christopherson, Waylon Jennings, and Johnny Cash. I was a highwayman. Along the coach roads I did ride, with sword and pistol by my side. Many a young maid lost her baubles to my trade. Many a soldier shed his lifeblood on my blade. The bastards hung me in the spring of 25, but I am still alive. I was a sailor. I was born upon the tide, and with the sea I did abide. I sailed a schooner round the Horn to Mexico. I went aloft and furled the mainsail in a blow. And when the yards broke off, they said that I got killed, but I am living still. I was a dam builder across the river deep and wide, where steel and water did collide. A place called Boulder on the wild Colorado. I slipped and fell into the wet concrete below. They buried me in that great tomb that knows no sound, but I am still around. I'll always be around and around and around and around and around and around. I fly a starship across the universe divide, and when I reach the other side, I'll find a place to rest my spirit if I can. Perhaps I may become a highwayman again, or I may simply be a single drop of rain, but I will remain. I'll be back again and again and again and again and again and again. Well, that's it. The full lyrics, the sacred text via sacred song, the Highwaymen. Man, there's a lot to unpack here. So, first thing, context. Knowing that these were 4 of the biggest country music performers in the 80s, and probably into the 90s, and honestly, probably ever, it's ironic that they're singing what is basically a Buddhist mantra. I don't know why I love it. I think the contrast definitely makes it more powerful. I am definitely no Buddhist. I'm actually just starting this series because I need to journal, but I hate writing, and music is so powerful. And also I think that there's so much value to be gained from evaluating a sacred text. I mean, goodness me, think about all the Bible study groups there are and how powerful those are for people. But I just don't like the Bible. I think it's old, it's outdated. I think a lot of the stories in it are pretty bad, irrelevant to today. You know, I mean, you can always pull out what you want from a text and from a song, honestly. I mean, maybe we'll find some old folk songs that are from 2,000 years ago and evaluate those as well. But this is definitely the first song that I wanted to do because it's not only one of my favorite songs, it was one of my mother's favorite songs as well. And I just want to honor her with this. So starting at the beginning, let's look at it. So we have, goodness, can you just keep recording? Okay, all right, you can keep recording, good. Walking a husky that loves to pull at the same time is classic multitasking, which probably isn't the best, but, you know, not going to do it otherwise. So something's better than nothing. But this first one, you've got a highwayman, which is basically a robber, right? Like, should we be listening to robbers? Is that a good thing? I don't know. And what is a robber? Like, one person's robber is another person's hero. Think about that guy who killed the like CEO of United Healthcare. Like, he's somehow now being like not just a murderer, he's some kind of folk hero. It's hard to reconcile that. It's also hard to hold on to shadow. Come on. Oh my gosh. Pulling. It's hard to reconcile it. I don't know, but I do love, so in this whole thing, this song is like a Buddhist song done by people who are generally the darlings of conservatives in America. And so it, again, holds more power. Like, things that unite us are better than the things that divide us. I think I like that messaging, and music usually works that way. But I'm rambling. Okay, so along the coach roads I did ride with sword and pistol by my side, so violent guy. And many a young maid lost her baubles to my trade, so he's a thief. I don't know, maybe there's something other baubles he's talking about. So generally not a great guy. Killed a lot of people, the soldiers. And then he got hung. So he seems somewhat neutral about it, which, again, we're going back to that Buddhist thing. Just recognizing what is and not being overly judgmental about it. Second one, I was a sailor, born upon a tide with the sea I did abide. He had a great connection to nature. He was working hard, going places that were, potentially dangerous, and was trying to help out his shipmates. And when he was up there working, the mast broke and he died. But he's living still. Third one, and this is another reason why I love it's a dam builder. My grandpa was a dam builder, so very good connection there. Across the river, deep and wide, steel and water did collide. That of power, monumental works of human engineering, but yet, in Boulder on the wild Colorado, and just something as innocuous as a slip and a fall, and buried forever in wet concrete. He's still around. I mean, he's literally still around. He's frozen in concrete. It's kind of crazy. Also, I don't think you can actually, fall into wet concrete in a dam. I think I gotta look that up. I don't think not necessarily actually possible, but it's a good story. Which brings me to the point. These sacred texts in the form of music, gotta keep the message simple. I think that helps. Dramatic, it's a good story. Good stories last a long time, whether or not they're true or not. As you can see, there's quite a lot of storytelling going on in the U.S. at the moment. It's not a recession that's engineered. It's a detox. Okay, that's not a really good story to me, but a lot of people love that story. And because it's a story, they don't have to look at facts. Which, again, I don't know how I feel about that, but I think it's human nature, and it's just how it is. I'm going to be Buddhist about this thought, just like this song. This song's helping me think about being more neutral and less opinionated. Maybe because that is helpful. And not pulling. I think I'm damaging my hand holding the leash. Okay. All right, last one. Very cool. As you can see, it's like they're stepping through time. The first verse is someone probably in the 1600s, then it moves to 17, 18. Now, 19th century. Now we're going into future, right? So it's humankind just keeps on going and going, right? the characters shift. And now he's flying a starship across the universe. And when he reaches the other side, he just wants to rest. Spirit, if he can, if it's possible to rest. And then reincarnate as a highwayman again. That makes me think, Mike, what people, like, yeah, okay, so the first guy's a thief. Or what choices did he have, though? Like, especially back in time, like, there was a lot less economic opportunity. If you weren't born into a certain place or a certain family, like, you didn't, like, what you had to do to survive. Is that being a thief, or is that just living? I'm so grateful we have better systems in place now where it's not as dire for people generally. Like, we have almost the whole world, almost. It's just getting better and better. There's blips and there's people who are accepted for sure. But this song is saying like each step forward with each character, each reincarnation, like less quote unquote bad to society. And that's a sign of like, hey, as the time, this is a good idea to like lifting all, like create the whole system, make the whole system better. Then a rising tide lifts all ships, like that kind of deal. And this whole idea of just being out for yourself and just get what you get and get what you can, and hoarding and hoarding and hoarding isn't good. It isn't good for the individual. You're like, think long term. And this song also is like a long term thinking song. Like, yeah, you got to survive till tomorrow, but if there's not emphasis and work put on like long term thinking, 100-year thinking, 300-year thinking, 500-year thinking, we're doomed, right? And I love this ambivalence of like, he may be a highwayman or just a single drop of rain. Either way, he will remain. And I'll be back again and again and again and again. Dang. Okay. A lot to think about. This song is pure magic. It is simple enough and catchy. And of course, the performances of it are great. But I have to say, the new rendition by Garen Music, the Irish guy, is even better than the original. And I don't want to get hit by lightning right now. It's not raining. But go listen to the Garen, Garron version of it on YouTube. Just a guy with his guitar in his bedroom with a new way of singing it, where he does all the characters. It's incredible. And definitely will get you inspired to be thoughtful and appreciate music. And I hope that this was helpful. Please subscribe to this channel and we'll keep going with this. I guess it doesn't really matter. I don't think anyone's really going to listen anyway, but just in case, I will be doing 5 days a week, daily devotionals. Heaven is a state of mind, sacred music texts. Just like a Bible study, but for people who don't believe in the Bible. Or maybe they do. That's fine too. I don't really care. I just want there to be something like a Bible study for people who don't want to use the Bible as the sacred text. All right. And if you're curious why I even begun this, basically, I can't sit still. I think I'm getting more and more panic in my brain. And I feel like journaling and analyzing sacred texts is one of many paths to feel better, but also maybe put something out in the world that is worthwhile and not the usual drivel on social media and YouTube and just furthering the greed philosophy that seems to be taking over the world at the moment. Appreciate your time. Have a good one.